Hi, I'm Sarah White at the Center on Wisconsin Strategy, COWS, here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We've done a ton of work with you all, working on building career pathways in Wisconsin, and we helped write your Seeds of Change report. And we've also done a lot of work around green jobs and the green economy. I and my colleagues produced a paper a couple of years ago called called Greener Pathways, Jobs and Workforce Development in the Clean Energy Economy, which has been used in Wisconsin and around the country. And just this spring, we put out a report looking at those issues right here in Wisconsin called Greening Wisconsin's Workforce, which took a look at the nature of green jobs, the potential for economic recovery in Wisconsin related to clean energy jobs, looked a little bit at biofuels, wind, and energy efficiency as key industries. I think I'm here because there's a ton of hype around green jobs. And everybody talks about green jobs, and green jobs are everything and everywhere. And every job is potentially a green job. Really it is. We would love it if every job became greener. It's really the path to the future, to economic recovery, to a sustainable planet, and to stronger communities, workers, and employers here in Wisconsin. But that said, we really have to decide where to focus our investments. It's not really a useful training strategy to say every job is a green job. So let's figure out which areas of our green economy, or potentially green economy, are the places that we want to invest in economic and workforce development. We at COWS tend to focus on the clean energy economy, looking at energy efficiency and renewable energy, although obviously there are all kinds of green jobs that cut across all sectors, all industries, and a variety of occupations. And specifically the water and waste management, natural resources. Obviously there are many, many green jobs or potentially green jobs in these areas. But what we see is in building a clean energy economy, there will also be a lot of jobs, and primarily in energy efficiency, which is really the low-hanging fruit, something that everybody can do, every community can do, and something that these are jobs that cannot be offshored. So we focus a lot on energy efficiency, and we see that the vast majority of jobs in the clean energy economy are not really new jobs. They are jobs in traditional occupations and traditional industries, often with the addition of some new skills, some green skills, perhaps adapting to some new technologies or some new practices or materials. But for the most part, we are talking about electricians and carpenters and the skilled trades. We are talking about pipe fitters and steam fitters. We're talking about manufacturing, assemblers. We're talking about machinists, industrial maintenance techs. We're talking about roofers, and all kinds of things. And we think that the majority of jobs in the clean energy economy are going to be in construction and manufacturing. Yes, there will be people climbing, men and women climbing exotic-looking wind towers to fix wind turbines, and that's exciting, and we're doing some great work around that in Wisconsin. But there's not going to be enough jobs, we don't think, in that sector to have every county and every technical college district and every workforce development area developing, for example, their own wind program. We really recommend that folks work together on these issues. There will be a variety of jobs that look new, but green jobs are not Martian jobs. There's not a bunch of little green people with new green jobs coming from other places. What they are the jobs that we all know. We just do them more efficiently. We do them more green. In manufacturing, it could be the production, as the state is working very hard to capture part of this market, the construction of component parts for renewable energy. This could be for wind turbines. This could be vats for biofuels. This could be railroad cars to transport clean products and clean fuels. It could be the production of insulation. It could be the production of energy efficient lighting. There's all kinds of things in the manufacturing economy and the production supports which will build on Wisconsin's traditional strengths in manufacturing and construction and skilled trades. There will be many other types of jobs also. That said, I think it's important to note, as far as training goes, two things. The first thing is that we at COWS always emphasize that you need to start with the jobs. And it's very tough to do in this economy where there aren't a lot of jobs. But we want to make sure we're not training people for jobs that do not exist, or do not exist in sufficient numbers to merit the investment of public resources in training for them. It's tough right now in time of incredible economic crisis to figure out what kinds of jobs we'd like to train people for and where to put our training investment dollars, because we simply don't know what the economy is going to look like when we come out of this. But we do know that some of the underlying labor market realities are going to be the same. We're going to have an aging population. We're going to have the decline of people in the pipeline training for skilled trades, and we need to be ready for that when the economy does recover. I think one of the key things to think about now is coordinating systems. It's something that you all do really well. It's really hard work, and the good news is that you don't have to invent anything new. You keep doing the things that you're doing. You just do more of them, and do them better. And by this I mean, coordinating the work of the board with the technical college system, with the public workforce system, with the labor unions, with employers, and with community groups. If you bring all those folks to the table together to figure out solutions, it will work incredibly well, because you will not be duplicating one another. We see in other places in the country everyone rushing to develop strategies for green jobs, and everyone's hanging out a shingle. Everyone's got a lemonade stand, right? Every mayor, every workforce board, every governor, every union hall, every technical college campus. And so we have all of these separate things, and we really need to make sure that we bring them all together. And that is really the work of a workforce development board. So you've got your work cut out for you. You know how to do this. We recommend that you coordinate. As we said, you don't need a wind tech training in every single county. Lakeshore's doing a great job with that, and they're connecting with Madison through CRET, and there are various, the welding programs now are being coordinated around the state. So thinking about ways to build these systems and these programs together so that we leverage our resources and that we focus on sectors really makes sense. What are your strengths already in your region, and build on those. You don't need to invent something new, and you don't need to worry about drawing in like the latest new company that's going to save you by building a big new factory. What you really need is think, what do we do best, and what can we do more of, and how do our supply chains work, and how do those fit together, and how can we green up the industries that we already have that are doing so well? What are our strengths? I think another thing to keep in mind, and we really recommend, is building greener pathways. And we call them greener pathways because they're not new pathways. These aren't career pathways that we're inventing out of whole cloth. What it means is taking a traditional career pathway and making sure that the skills training for the greener aspects of these industries are built in. But, if you think about plumbers, for example, right, you don't need a different kind of training to install a low flush toilet. It's the same as a high flush toilet. You make the same connections. There might be a little bit different technology. You tend to learn that from the product manufacturer, but there's often not a lot of new skills required. In many cases there are, but we're working industry by industry to figure out what those are. And building the pathway is extremely important. This is everything from bridge programs to help integrate adult basic education at the technical colleges with occupational training, and then making sure that those kinds of combined programs can carry people from a bridge program into a job with a credential that means something, and then from the workplace back into the system for more training, and back so that folks can really make their way up a lattice to a sustainable job. So either a job that pays a living wage or has a career pathway to that. Some of the examples that are doing, your board has a great track record building career pathways. You've been ahead of the country on this. The RISE initiative that we're working on now definitely is carrying this farther in all kinds of good ways, as is the sector strategies that the state is doing. Thanks so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today. We are a resource for you, so certainly call me or any of us at COWS if we can be of further help. We think the work that you're doing is just absolutely terrific. We know you can do this. You have been doing it, and we look forward to working with you as you build the green economy in your region.